It sounds almost offensive to say this out loud, but it's true. For most people, staying poor isn't caused by bad luck. It isn't caused by low income. And it definitely isn't caused by not working hard enough. It's caused by what they do every single day, without thinking. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Because the uncomfortable truth is this: if you do one specific set of actions consistently, it becomes mathematically difficult to stay poor. Even if you start broke, even if you're in debt, even if the economy is against you, that's not motivation. That's math. But nobody explains it this way because this approach doesn't benefit the system you're living inside. Let me show you what I mean. Most people think wealth is built through big moments. A promotion, a raise, an investment win, a lucky break. That belief alone keeps them stuck. Because wealth is not built in moments. It's built in patterns. And poverty is the same. Poverty isn't a lack of money. It's a pattern of behavior that silently compounds, just like interest. Every day you repeat the pattern, the math moves further against you. And every day you break it, the math shifts in your favor. Here's the first thing you need to understand. Money is not earned monthly. It's not earned yearly. It's not earned per paycheck. Money is earned daily. Not in dollars, but in decisions. Every day, you are either buying future freedom or renting temporary comfort. And the system is designed to push you toward renting comfort. Think about how your day actually works. You wake up. You check your phone. You absorb information that wasn't designed to help you. It was designed to keep your attention. You go to work. You trade time for money. You get tired. You want relief. And that's where the damage happens. Because when you're tired, you don't make long-term decisions. You make emotional ones. You spend to feel better. You eat convenience. You avoid friction. You postpone thinking. None of this feels irresponsible. That's the trap. The system doesn't punish you immediately. It rewards you short-term and charges you later. That's how it keeps you locked in. Now here's the part nobody likes to hear. Poverty is expensive. Not emotionally. Mathematically. If you are poor, you pay more for everything. You pay more interest. You pay higher fees. You buy lower quality items that break faster. You miss discounts that require cash. You lose time because you can't buy convenience when it actually matters. Being poor means your money works against you. And this is where the daily action comes in. There is one habit that flips this equation. One habit that forces your money to start working for you, even in small amounts. And it's not budgeting. It's not investing. It's not hustling harder. It's daily surplus creation, not monthly. Daily. Most people don't think in daily surplus terms. They think, I'll save if there's something left at the end of the month. That guarantees failure because there is never anything left. The system makes sure of that. Instead, the rule is this. Every single day, before you consume, before you relax, before you reward yourself, you must create a surplus. Not a large one, a deliberate one. A decision that says, today I kept more value than I destroyed. That surplus can be time. It can be energy. It can be money. It can be skill. But it must be intentional. Here's why this works. Surplus compounds in two directions. First, it compounds financially. Even small amounts, when protected daily, create capital. Second, and this is more important, it compounds psychologically. You stop seeing yourself as someone barely surviving. You start seeing yourself as someone building. That identity shift changes everything. People who stay poor don't believe they are builders. They believe they are reactors. They react to bills. They react to stress. They react to opportunities after it's too late. Builders act before life forces them to. And that starts daily. Let me make this painfully clear. If you cannot consistently create surplus on a bad day, you will never keep wealth on a good one. Windfalls don't fix broken patterns. They expose them. That's why lottery winners go broke. That's why raises disappear. That's why bonuses feel gone within weeks. The pattern stays the same. So here's the step-by-step logic. Not motivation, not inspiration. Logic. Step 1. You stop measuring your financial life monthly. Monthly thinking hides damage. Daily thinking exposes it. You ask one question every day. Did I create surplus today, or did I consume everything? That question alone changes behavior. Step 2. You automate the surplus. Not later. Immediately. You don't wait until you feel disciplined. You don't rely on willpower. You remove the choice. A fixed amount moves out of your control daily or weekly, into savings, debt reduction, or asset building. It doesn't matter how small it is. What matters is that it happens before consumption. Because consumption expands to fill whatever remains. Always. Step 3. You protect the surplus from identity sabotage. This is where most people fail. They save for a week. Then they reward themselves. They invest for a month. Then they panic and pull out. Why? Because their self-image hasn't caught up. Their identity still believes, I'm not the kind of person who keeps money. So the surplus feels unsafe. Your job is to normalize surplus, to make it boring, expected. Wealth is boring. Poverty is chaotic. The system sells chaos because chaos creates spending. And here's the final piece most people never connect. Daily surplus forces you to build leverage. Leverage is the real wealth engine. Not debt leverage, personal leverage, skills, negotiating power, optionality, time. When you aren't suffocating financially, you can wait. You can say no. You can choose better opportunities. That's when income grows, not before. So no, it's not impossible to stay poor because you think positive. It's impossible because the math stops working against you. You stop leaking value daily. You start stacking it. And once that happens, even a broken system can't keep you down forever. I haven't even touched the most dangerous mistake people make after they start this. The one that sends them straight back to zero. That's what we need to talk about next. Now here's where most people break the system without realizing it. They do the first few steps. They automate something. They save a little. They feel productive. Then they stop. Not because it didn't work, but because the results didn't feel dramatic fast enough. And that's the trap. Because the thing that makes it impossible to stay poor if you do this every day isn't motivation. It's not hustle. It's not working harder. It's boring consistency applied to leverage. Let me explain. Every day you repeat this system, something invisible is happening. Your baseline is rising. Most people live at the edge of their finances. Every paycheck resets them back to zero. Every unexpected expense knocks them backward. Every raise just inflates their lifestyle. But when you apply this daily process, your money starts behaving differently. Instead of reacting to life, it starts absorbing it. Here's the next step most people miss. You don't just track money. You compress decision-making. Every morning, before anything else touches your attention, you ask one question. What single action today increases my future income, even slightly? Not 10 actions. Not a perfect plan. One action. Send one email, write one page, learn one skill, optimize one system, apply to one opportunity, build one asset. The size doesn't matter. The direction does. Because income doesn't grow linearly. It compounds through systems. And systems don't require motivation. They require repetition. This is where people with average intelligence outperform people with high intelligence. Smart people overthink. Average people execute. Now let's talk about the most uncomfortable part of this entire process. Delayed gratification. Every day you do this, you're choosing not to consume something you could afford. Not because you can't, but because you understand opportunity cost. Most people think opportunity cost is abstract. It's not. It's very real. Every dollar you spend today has a future version of itself you're killing. That doesn't mean never enjoying life. It means you stop confusing consumption with happiness. Here's the mindset shift that changes everything. You stop asking, can I afford this? And start asking, what does this cost me in 5 years? That single question rewires your financial behavior. Because once you see money as time spending becomes intentional. Now let's talk about income acceleration, because saving alone won't make you wealthy. Every day, part of this system must be dedicated to expanding your earning ceiling. Not your hours, your leverage. Leverage comes in 4 forms: skills, capital, systems, people. Early on, you focus on skills that increase your value per hour, skills that scale, skills that transfer: writing, sales, analysis, storytelling, technical literacy, negotiation, problem solving. You don't need all of them. You need one you can compound. Every day you improve that skill by 1%, not dramatically, deliberately. And here's the key most people miss. You don't wait until you're ready to monetize it. You monetize early, badly, imperfectly. Because feedback accelerates growth. Money is feedback. Now, something interesting happens once you've done this for a while. Your expenses stabilize, your income starts to grow, your stress drops. And this creates a dangerous moment: comfort. This is where most people stall forever. They stop pushing because life feels manageable, but the system isn't done yet. The next step is building buffers, real buffers. 6 months of expenses, then 12. Not as a goal, as a side effect. Buffers create optionality. Optionality is power. When you're not desperate, you negotiate better. You take smarter risks. You say no to bad opportunities. You wait for good ones. Now let's talk about investing, because this is where the gap widens permanently. Most people invest emotionally. They chase trends. They react to headlines. They panic. You don't. You invest mechanically. Every day or every week, automatically, regardless of mood, low cost, diversified. Boring. Because boring works. The market rewards patience, not intelligence. Now, here's the paradox. At some point, you'll realize you're no longer worried about money. That's when wealth actually starts. Because wealth isn't having more, it's needing less. And when you need less, everything changes. You stop trading your values for paychecks. You stop tolerating disrespect. You stop living reactively. Your daily system quietly removed desperation from your life. That's why it's impossible to stay poor if you do this every day. Not because it makes you rich overnight, but because it systematically eliminates the behaviors that keep people poor. Impulsive spending, emotional decisions, short-term thinking, lack of leverage, no margin for error. This process replaces chaos with structure, and structure compounds. Here's the truth nobody tells you. Most people aren't poor because they lack opportunity. They're poor because their daily habits leak money, time, and focus. Fix the leaks, and wealth becomes inevitable. Now let's talk about time, because this is where people get impatient. This system doesn't change your life in 30 days. It changes it in 18 to 36 months, and that's exactly why it works, because most people quit at month 3. If you do this for 1 year, you'll feel different. 2 years, you'll live different. 3 years, people will ask how you did it, and you won't have a dramatic answer. You'll just say, "I did the same things every day." That's the secret. Now let me leave you with this. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need motivation. You don't need permission. You need a simple system you execute daily, even when it feels pointless. Especially when it feels pointless. Because the results show up long after the discipline begins. That's how wealth actually works. And now, the outro. If this made you rethink how money really works, let me know in the comments. I read every single one. And if you want more videos breaking down systems that actually change your financial future, subscribe. Because the difference between staying stuck and breaking free is rarely knowledge, it's consistency, applied daily.